The alarms blared throughout the vault as Jason tightened his grip on his weapon. The first wave of intruders had been repelled, but he knew better than to think the battle was over. Outside, the enemy forces regrouped, larger and smarter than before. The walls of the royal vault vibrated slightly as massive ships hovered above the crystal city, their engines sending ripples through the air. Lyra adjusted her console, rerouting more power to the turrets. Sparks flew from the panels as she worked at lightning speed. "They're preparing a full assault," she said, her voice tense. "This time they won't come in small groups. They'll try to overwhelm us all at once." Jason nodded. He could see it too. Through the vault's reinforced windows, he watched shadows moving. Hundreds of armored figures approaching in precise formations. These intruders were not ordinary raiders. They were a disciplined force, trained to breach the strongest defenses. Every instinct in his body told him that this fight could be the deadliest yet. But Jason did not flinch. The Queen's voice came over the intercom, calm but firm. "Jason, I trust you. My people's legacy is in your hands. Use everything you have learned. You are not alone." Those words reminded Jason of why he stayed when everyone else had run. Fear had no place in this moment. He took a deep breath, scanning the vault for any advantage. The enemy expected a straightforward defense, but he knew the layout of the vault better than anyone. He whispered to Lyra, "Listen to me. We need to turn the vault itself into a weapon, trap them in their own attack." Lyra's eyes widened, but she quickly understood. She began activating systems Jason had not even explored before. Energy grids shifted. Floors that appeared solid now had hidden panels, and walls began to move slightly, creating narrow corridors that could funnel the attackers. Every step the enemy took could trigger traps or leave them vulnerable to turrets. The enemy arrived. The first wave stormed through the vault doors, weapons blazing. Jason moved like a shadow, dodging beams and swinging his weapon with precision. One intruder lunged at him from the side, but Jason sidestepped, tripped it, and sent it sliding into an energy field. Sparks erupted as the intruder screamed, then fell silent. Lyra's turrets whirred, targeting the incoming enemies automatically. She guided Jason with her voice.
"Left corner!"
"More coming!" Jason ran, crouched and rolled, keeping close to the walls and pedestals. Every move was calculated. He could feel the strain in his muscles, the burn in his lungs, but he did not stop. Each intruder that fell made him more determined. The vault was not just stone, crystal, and metal. It was the heart of an entire civilization, and he would not let it fall. One of the enemy leaders, taller and more heavily armored than the rest, broke through the barriers. Its eyes glowed red as it scanned for the artifacts. Jason faced it head-on, blocking its weapon with his own and dodging its powerful strikes. He realized brute force alone would not work. Using the vault's energy panels, he triggered a localized pulse that destabilized the enemy's armor temporarily. The intruder stumbled and Jason struck, knocking it unconscious. Outside, reinforcements from the Queen's loyal army arrived. They could not enter the vault directly, but their presence was a morale boost. Jason's human instincts combined with the aliens' superior technology created a deadly synergy. He led the intruders into traps, manipulated the environment, and coordinated with Lyra to maximize every defensive measure. Despite his injuries, a cut along his arm, bruises from falling debris, and a deep fatigue, Jason refused to stop. Every time he fell back, he pushed forward again, guided by determination and a sense of duty. He knew the intruders were not just after the vault. They were testing his resolve. If he wavered even for a moment, the consequences would be catastrophic. As the battle raged, the Queen made a decision. Her voice came with authority and trust. "Jason, I will assist you directly. Prepare for the final defense. You have done well, but this next step requires complete focus." The Queen's personal energy signature flooded into the vault systems. Shields strengthened, turrets became more precise, and the entire vault seemed to hum with power. Jason felt the difference immediately. The vault was no longer just a building. It had become a living, responsive weapon. The enemy launched their ultimate attack, entering in larger numbers and using more advanced weapons. Jason and Lyra moved like a single unit, predicting each move, dodging every strike, and using the vault's systems against them. Jason's human ingenuity shone brightest here. He anticipated ambushes, lured intruders into deadly traps, and created openings that even Lyra had not predicted. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Sweat poured down Jason's face, but he never stopped moving. His body ached, yet his mind was sharper than ever. Every strike, every calculation, and every maneuver mattered. He was the last line of defense, and he understood the weight of that responsibility. One by one, the intruders fell. Some were incapacitated by traps, some stunned by energy pulses, and others simply could not withstand the coordinated counterattack of human skill and alien technology. Jason faced the final intruder leader, the one who had broken through earlier. This enemy was cunning, powerful, and determined. They clashed in the central chamber, surrounded by energy barriers and glowing artifacts. The intruder's strikes were strong, but Jason's timing and quick reflexes allowed him to block and counter. Using a combination of strength, strategy, and instinct, he manipulated the environment. Panels shifted beneath the intruder's feet. Energy pulses knocked it off balance, and finally Jason disarmed it, sending it crashing against a wall. The enemy leader, realizing defeat, retreated with the remaining forces. Outside, Jason could hear the sounds of their ships lifting off, their retreat echoing through the Crystal City. The vault was safe. The artifacts remained untouched. Lyra ran to him, her face filled with admiration and relief. I can't believe we did it, she said. Jason smiled, exhausted but proud. We did it together. That's what matters. Courage isn't just about one person. It's about standing when others fall and helping each other survive. The Queen's voice came over the intercom one last time, calm and filled with respect. Jason, you have proven what I always knew. Humans have a bravery that can match even the strongest of my warriors. Your actions will be remembered in the history of Virelia. Jason felt a sense of fulfillment he had never known. He had stayed when others ran. He had protected not only a vault but the legacy of an entire civilization. And in doing so, he had earned the trust and admiration of the alien queen. As he sat among the glowing artifacts, tending to his wounds, he realized something profound. Courage was not about the absence of fear, but the choice to stand firm despite it. That lesson, he knew, would guide him in every challenge to come. The vault doors closed, the alarms silenced, and for the first time in hours, Jason allowed himself to breathe. Outside, the sun reflected off the crystal towers, casting rainbows across the city. The enemy had been defeated, the artifacts safe, and the human who refused to run had become a legend. And so, the story of Jason, the human who stayed when the guards fled, spread throughout Virelia. Children would tell it, soldiers would remember it, and the alien queen herself would never forget the courage of the human who protected her vault against impossible odds. For Jason, it was not about glory or reward. It was about doing what was right, standing firm when others faltered and proving that even one human could change the fate of a civilization. And as he looked out at the shining city, he knew that this was only the beginning of his journey. The planet Virelia was not like Earth. Its skies shimmered with colors no human eye had ever seen, and its cities were carved from giant crystal towers that reflected the sun in thousands of bright shards. Among these towers, the largest and most important was the Royal Vault, a place where the alien queen kept her most precious treasures, artifacts of immense power, capable of shaping worlds or destroying them. The vault was heavily guarded by the queen's elite soldiers, trained for decades to protect it from any threat, yet no training could prepare them for what was coming. A human soldier named Jason had been stationed on Virelia for 2 years as a liaison and protector of the queen. Unlike the alien soldiers, Jason did not have sharp claws, extra limbs, or energy shields that could be summoned in a second. What he had was courage, quick thinking, and the kind of determination that refused to bow in the face of danger. He had grown to respect the alien queen, a ruler whose wisdom and calm presence inspired loyalty even in her strongest warriors. On that day, alarm sirens cut through the crystalline towers. The ground trembled as enemy ships pierced the atmosphere, their dark silhouettes blotting out the twin suns. The invaders moved with precision and brutality, firing energy pulses that shattered crystal walls and sent debris flying in all directions. Panic spread like wildfire. The elite guards who had sworn to die protecting the vault faltered first. One by one they turned and ran, their fear overpowering their duty. Jason watched them leave, disbelief in his eyes. He could hear the queen's calm but firm voice over the communication system. "Stay, Jason, protect the vault. Do not fail." Jason nodded even though she could not see him. He clenched his fists and ran toward the vault entrance. Around him, alarms blared and enemy drones zipped through the hallways. They were fast, small, and deadly, equipped with weapons that could cut through crystal walls. But Jason had prepared for this. He had spent months learning the vault's layout, its security systems, and the traps that even the alien guards sometimes underestimated. As he entered the main chamber, the walls glowed with ancient energy. The artifacts rested on pedestals of shining metal, each protected by force fields that pulsed with a soft blue light. Jason paused, taking a deep breath. One wrong move could destroy the artifacts, or worse, trigger a defense system that would harm him. The first wave of enemy drones attacked. Jason dived behind a pedestal, rolling across the floor as energy beams struck where he had been standing moments before. He pulled out a compact weapon, a hybrid of human tech and alien design, and fired precise shots at the drones. Each hit caused sparks to fly and several drones collapsed, but more kept coming. He didn't panic. Panic was for those who ran. The Queen's voice came again, steady and commanding. Jason, the central vault door will open for a moment in 60 seconds. You must use it to activate the secondary defenses. The invaders cannot breach them if you succeed. Jason's mind raced. He had only 60 seconds to reach the control console on the far side of the chamber. With no guards at his side, he had to dodge, dive, and fight at the same time. He ran, using pillars and statues for cover, firing at the drones as he moved. One drone exploded near his feet, sending shards of crystal flying. He flinched but kept going. At the console, he slammed his hands onto the controls. Lights flashed, and the vault's secondary defenses roared to life. Energy barriers formed around each artifact, stronger than before, and automated turrets began targeting the invaders. Jason felt a small surge of relief. He had bought some time. But the battle was far from over. Through the glass walls of the chamber, he could see the enemy troops landing. They were larger than drones, armored in dark metal and moving with terrifying precision. One of them paused, scanning the room, and Jason froze. The alien intruder's eyes glowed red through its helmet. Jason realized that this was not a simple raid. It was an assault designed to test the defenses and find weaknesses. He needed help. But there was only one person who could assist him now, a young alien apprentice named Lyra, who had been training in the vault systems. She was clever, quick, and had an instinct for technology that rivaled even the Queen's engineers. Jason found her crouched behind a pillar, her hands flying over a portable console, rerouting power to the turrets. Lyra, he shouted over the noise. Can you hold them? She nodded without looking up. I'll slow them down. You keep them away from the vault. Jason moved as a team, covering her while she worked. The enemy intruders tried to break through the barriers, but every time they reached a point of attack, turrets fired, and the floor beneath them lit up with energy pulses. Jason leapt and rolled, using every trick he knew. One intruder got too close, swinging a plasma blade, but Jason sidestepped and used a small stun device to knock it off balance. Minutes passed, feeling like hours. Jason's arms ached, his breath came in short gasps, and the sounds of battle were deafening, yet he did not stop. The thought of the vault falling, of the Queen's treasures being stolen, pushed him forward. Every human instinct he had, honed through years of training, guided his movements. The Queen's voice broke through again, calmer now. Jason, your bravery is noted. Remember, the vault holds not just power but the legacy of my people. Protect it with your life. Jason clenched his jaw. I will, he whispered. The intruders were relentless. They moved with tactics he had never seen, coordinating attacks and feints. But Jason and Lyra had something they did not expect: ingenuity. Jason used the vault itself as a weapon, triggering localized energy pulses that sent some of the intruders flying. Lyra hacked the lighting systems, creating flashes that disoriented their sensors. Together they made an unstoppable combination, at least for now. Suddenly, one intruder broke through the barrier and lunged directly at the artifacts. Jason reacted instinctively, throwing himself in front of it. The intruder struck him, sending him crashing to the ground, but he rolled and fired, disabling it just before it could reach the pedestal. Breathing heavily, Jason stood and looked around. The vault was still intact. None of the artifacts had been touched. The intruders had been slowed, though not defeated. Outside, he could hear the sounds of retreating guards, chaos, and destruction, but inside the vault he had held his ground. Lyra looked up at him, wide-eyed. I didn't think anyone would stay, she admitted. Jason shook his head. Some things are worth more than fear. Some things are worth standing for, even if everyone else runs. The two of them prepared for the next wave. They knew the enemy would return stronger, and the vault could not hold forever. But for now, they had proved one thing. A human armed with courage and cleverness could do what even the best alien guards would not.